I am here in my backyard today out of the office. It's a much better view, much cooler shirt, and much hotter weather. Today I'm talking about appraisals, 5 questions that I see on a weekly basis regarding appraisals. First, who orders it? We, the lender, order that appraisal. As soon as the buyer pays for it, we order it through a third party, and then it gets scheduled with the seller, and then we move on from there. How much does an appraisal cost? That ranges from lender to lender, state to state, loan program to loan program. I'm specifically talking about conventional mortgages. On average, I would expect an appraisal to cost in the 500s. It ranges anywhere from 400 to 800, depending on the price of the house, but I'm seeing it in the 500s on average for appraisals. How long does the process take? Usually 5 to 7 business days. Once we get it ordered and scheduled, once that appraisal actually takes place, we get that report back within 5 to 7 business days. That can vary depending on the time of year. Summer is the busiest time of year. Sometimes appraisers get overbooked, and sometimes it takes a little longer. 5 to 7 days after the appraisal takes place is how long you should expect to get that report back. What happens if the appraisal comes in high? Congratulations, you got an amazing deal. You get to move in with instant equity. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell the sellers. You got a deal. Congratulations. Now, what happens if that appraisal comes in low? Well, that's when your agent is going to get to work and start working and negotiating on your behalf. We're going to send you a copy of that appraisal report. Your agent's going to take a look at the comparables that the appraiser is using. And if they seem off, then we will refute it, and your listing or your buyer's agent will put together their list of comps that they think make sense, and maybe we refute it. If that doesn't work, and if the comps that the appraiser have are pretty good and we can see clearly that the seller just overpriced their house, well, that's when you might start negotiating. Your agent's going to talk to the other agent and they're just going to start negotiating. If you don't have an appraisal guarantee, then they might have to lower that price to help you still buy the house, or maybe you meet somewhere in the middle, right? If you're buying a house for 500 and it appraises at 480, you can either ask them to lower their price to 480, or you meet somewhere in the middle, or you just walk away. If you walk away, you lose the money that you paid for the appraisal. That doesn't happen as often. I typically see buyers and sellers negotiate because sellers still want to sell the house. Buyers still want the house. Typically, they can work together, but it might take a few days. I typically don't see a seller agree to lower their price right away. They're already committed. They were thinking in their head they're going to get this much money for that house. And sometimes it can be a hard pill to swallow that they're going to make less money. But sometimes that's just a reality, especially in a market with, in some areas, overinflated prices. But those are the 5 basic questions I get every week about appraisals. I hope this helps. I am licensed in 49 states to do mortgages. Bridge loans are Michigan only. Remember that. If you have any questions or anybody that can help, I appreciate it. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.